Hello, welcome to this tropical update. We have increasing probabilities for development in the tropics, in the Gulf, and in the Atlantic. So let's see the latest here. First in the Gulf, we have this area there already a 90% chance in the next 2 days and 7 days. So let me see. An elongated area of low pressure located over the southwestern Gulf continues to produce a large area of showers and thunderstorms. Satellite-derived winds show the system does not yet have a well-defined circulation center, but is producing winds of 40 to 45 miles per hour on its western side. Environmental conditions appear conducive for additional development. A tropical storm is expected to form during the next day or so. The system is forecast to move generally northwestward and northward near and along the Gulf Coast of Mexico, upper Texas and Louisiana coast, with additional strengthening possible by the middle of the week. So interests in the upper Gulf Coast of Mexico, Texas and Louisiana should closely monitor this system. Tropical storm watches could be required for portions of the northwestern Mexico, southern Texas late this afternoon or tonight. They might put this as a potential tropical cycle and put some watches, or if it develops already, let's see. And with additional watches possible along the coast of Texas and Louisiana late tonight or Monday. An Air Force Reserve Hurricane aircraft is currently en route to investigate the system this afternoon. So we are closely monitoring that. There could be some tropical storm impacts, parts of Mexico, Texas, Louisiana there. So closely monitor if you are in those areas. There's this other area that was recently upgraded to 70%. So earlier this morning was just 60. Let's see. Showers and thunderstorms associated with an area of low pressure over the central tropical Atlantic continue to show signs of organization. Environmental conditions appear conducive for additional development of the system over the next couple of days, and a tropical depression is now likely to form during that time, while the system meanders over the central tropical Atlantic. By the middle of the week, the system should begin moving more westward around 10 miles per hour through the rest of the week, so 60 and 70% chance. So there's a high likelihood that develops as well. There's the system behind it at 50% chance. So some gradual development is possible next week, but we'll keep monitoring that as well. So let's see the latest GFS. It has that system in the Gulf developing to a tropical storm and hitting Louisiana as a hurricane. The GFS is too aggressive, I think, but you never know. And there's the system in the Atlantic. The GFS takes some time to develop, but eventually gets to a tropical storm there, even a hurricane, but kind of struggles first. And the second system behind it kind of goes north and ice. And even has some other stuff later. Let's see. The European has the system in the Gulf kind of developing. Yes, so the 0Z today had a tropical storm there, and also on the Pacific side. And it had that system, the Atlantic, becoming a tropical storm, even a hurricane going out there. The Canadian has the system, the Atlantic, struggling a little bit and not quite developing, but it has the one behind it turning into a tropical storm, and even a tropical storm, and it has the system in the Gulf into a tropical storm into Texas and Louisiana. So let's see the icon. It has the system, the Atlantic, kind of developing, maybe a tropical depression or storm, but weak. It's showing like some weak systems. But this could be something. And it shows there in the Gulf, getting to a tropical storm and hitting Louisiana there and Texas. Also in the Pacific, another one. So we'll keep monitoring this, but if this one in the Atlantic forms, we'll likely head just north of the Caribbean. Some indications are to show it to the Caribbean, but most show it just north. So let's see some hurricane models for the system in the Gulf. So here's the HWRF. It shows it's slowly developing there, eventually to a tropical storm, a lot of heavy rain through Mexico and Texas, and then it continues going there, but it's kind of weird because it shows all the moisture on the northern side and the low pressure and completely empty on the southwestern side, but it might be a little disorganized. But let's see the HAFS A. It has it there. almost developing. Then it gets into a tropical storm there, goes, and then it has to make landfall. Always a category 1 hurricane there, but at the landfall, likely a tropical storm there into Texas and Louisiana. There's this other hurricane model. It shows it goes there, probably into a tropical storm, very close to the coast of Mexico and Texas, and then goes into Louisiana and Texas. There's the other, the HEFS-B. It shows it goes there, gets into a tropical storm, showing really stronger there near the coast of Mexico. Then it scrapes the coast, leaves some heavy rain, goes into the Gulf again, and into Louisiana and Texas. So we will closely monitor this, but all the east coast of Mexico and the coast of Texas, Louisiana, should be on alert for heavy rainfall, especially in Mexico, there in southern Texas, on alert for heavy rainfall. So please be careful with this. And here are some tracks from the HWRF and the other hurricane models. It shows it going there, passing very close to Mexico and Texas, and going into Louisiana there. So let's see here. If we have some more information, like the intensity guidance, let's see. So almost all the models are a tropical storm now, but it's not a tropical storm yet. It's because of the wind speed. So the wind speed is already a tropical storm force now, but it's not organized. So, but all the models strengthen this a little bit, except like 2 models keep this the same strength, but mostly strengthen this a little bit, and many are showing like hurricane already there, and then it weakens later at landfall. But be aware, potential hurricane coming towards those areas. Some other models are there, Texas, Louisiana, basically there, and passing very close to Mexico, leaving the heavy rains. So stay safe there, please. And let's see now the system in the Atlantic. It shows, wait, let me shift models here. So European here. So let's see some hurricane models actually, because that's an invest in 92L. So the HWRF has it there, struggling a little bit, but eventually like getting to a tropical storm there by like Thursday the 12th and going out into the Atlantic. So let's see, this other hurricane model has it's still like struggling a little bit, but eventually get into a tropical storm too, but very weak. Keeps it like very weak, but might be a short-lived tropical storm. Let's see the HEFS-A. It has it there, goes kind of disorganized, but it eventually tries to get going there. But the HEFS-A is not quite developing this very much yet. Let's see the HEFS-B here. So it has it there, keeps going but not quite organized, but eventually like shows a tropical storm possibly, but still like the hurricane models are still at a low confidence for a stronger system, but the other models are definitely showing a system there in the Atlantic coming out of this. So let's see some track from this model. So let's see, most tracks take it towards the Atlantic. One model or two takes it near the Caribbean, but most towards the Atlantic there. Let's see, the hurricane models take this generally there, going out into the Atlantic. So not a crazy threat, but gotta be aware there. And let's see here. What else? So in terms of impacts in the Gulf, there's some gusty winds there. Now near Mexico, and then it shows it developing there. This is actually the European, and then it shows it goes there into Texas and Louisiana, some gusty winds, but nothing crazy, not a gigantic system, but be aware. And now the wind gusts, it shows stronger there near Mexico, and then it starts developing there, goes towards Texas and Louisiana with some very gusty winds there, and especially into Louisiana by next Thursday there. So be aware. And rainfall shows it next 5 days. The European has more over Mexico. There's southern Mexico, but it doesn't have much in eastern Mexico. Only northeasternmost Mexico, like 129 millimeters. Southern Texas around 188 millimeters, but it has most in Louisiana as this makes landfall there. Let's see, around some 5 inches in some areas, but southern Texas close to 8 inches in southern Texas, so this could be a problem there. Some flooding. Other parts of Texas 5 inches along the coast, 4 inches, so be careful there. But depending on the track, this might be worse for Mexico, because, for example, the GFS takes this much closer to Mexico and then goes north into Louisiana there. So showing like 7 to 9 inches in Louisiana from the system, some 4 inches, like 100 millimeters in northern Mexico, even more in some areas. So please be careful there in eastern Mexico, northeastern Mexico. Might be some very heavy rain from this in some spots, especially as this goes into Texas and Louisiana. Might be some big impacts from the rain. And wind, not much, it will be just a tropical storm, but there might be a damage or two. And then it shows like the icon shows 7 inches in Louisiana, 5 inches, other areas some 5 inches. So please be aware in Louisiana, be like on alert mode already from this system. So please stay safe there. And let's see. On the Eastern Pacific, that there's this area now at 60% chance of development near Mexico, so an area of low pressure is forecast to form during the middle part next week, near just south of the coast of southern Mexico. Environmental conditions appear conducive for some gradual development of this system. A tropical depression could form the middle latter part of this week, while it moves generally northwestward near the coast of northwestern Mexico. So be aware there might be a lot of heavy rains near Mexico because of this. As you can see here in the Pacific, all those heavy rains because of this system, especially those islands there. But the western coast of Mexico could have some heavy rains as well. So, for example, show 76 millimeters, 100 millimeters in some areas as the system passes very close. So please be careful there. Let's see. Here, so for the Eastern Pacific, the European has all those heavy rains there, and the system trying to get going there. And let's see, tries to get going, eventually gets to a tropical storm there, and then dissipates and goes into Mexico. So be aware. And the GFS has it there, goes, forms into a tropical storm, and actually hits Cabo San Lucas and other areas of the Baja California as a tropical storm, continues and dissipates there. So I will recommend to watch the system closely if you are in Baja California or those areas. And the icon has, let's see, it also has a system trying to form there, one near the coast that dissipates, but it has this getting to like a hurricane. So the icon takes this all the way to a hurricane and then dissipates there. And let's see, for example, the Navgen, it has the storm forming on the Gulf of Mexico, heading towards Texas and Louisiana, and it has the other storm forming on the Pacific, going towards Baja California. So please be aware in those areas there. And let's see if I say this in Spanish as well for them. Entonces va a haber lluvias muy fuertes al noroeste de México por este sistema no Golfo y este sistema va a Luisiana y Texas. Entonces, si estás ahí, precauciones, puede haber una tormenta tropical en Luisiana como jueves así. Y hay otro sistema en el Pacífico se formando con lluvias muy fuertes en la costa oeste de México, más tormentas fuertes ahí, precauciones. Y este sistema puede ir cerca de Baja California, porque algunos modelos lo indican llegando cerca de Baja California y se desformando. Entonces, si estás ahí, esté atento así a las noticias y precauciones con las lluvias fuertes. Good. So let's see what else we got here. So back in the Atlantic, let's see the European here. So in terms of dry air, we had some dry air near that system just north there, but there's plenty of moisture now. But it shows some dry air might start affecting it before it gets to Louisiana, the European, because like I showed you, like most of the moisture on the northern side and like empty on the western side, but some other models have a more compact, like the GFS and the Icon. But it does show some possible dry air intrusion later. But let's see, the other systems, so lots of dry air in the Central Atlantic to the north, but the system itself is in a pretty moist area, so it might manage to form. Let's see, the wind shear shows there was a lot of wind shear these days in the Gulf. Like that first system there that dumped the heavy rains in Louisiana was pretty much sheared out, but with this system now shows some weaker wind shear where it's developing, and then it might run into more wind shears as it goes to the subtropical jet as it makes landfall, but there are some decent conditions for it to develop. And in the Atlantic, it shows not as much wind shear there in the main development region, more in the north there, but it might survive. So let's see here another important thing. Let's see, so the sea surface temperatures in the Gulf are very hot, about 31 degrees centigrade, 30 degrees, so pretty decent for the system to feed off. So some pretty warm temperatures as well. The Central Atlantic around 28-30 degrees, also kind of warm. So let's see another interesting feature here. Wait, let me see. Here. So the ocean heat content, there's a lot in the Caribbean there, probably more to 150 OHC in much of the Caribbean, but there's some areas in the Gulf there, especially in the loop current, but near the Western Gulf it shows a pocket of higher ocean heat content as well. So gotta watch with those sea surface temperatures and everything. So let's see here, and because there's an interesting feature here, it shows like the probability of development and everything. Like it shows like 34%, 53% there of development, but it's like this is experimental, so it's not like official. But let's see, there's this other one, so like 44%, 47, but obviously the chances are now higher than that. So, and for the rest of the Caribbean, we still have those tropical waves, more showers and storms in the Eastern Caribbean. We had already some flash flood warnings in Barbados these last few days, so be aware of some occasional heavier downpours in parts of the Eastern Islands. Some storms in Cuba, especially in the afternoon, in Hispaniola as well. We have some more storms in Puerto Rico, so be aware some more showers and storms might pass through there. And heavier rains in Central America, northern Costa Rica, Nicaragua, especially Guatemala, some heavier downpours, might be flooding in a spot or two, so be aware there. Let's see, this is the GFS. It shows more rain there in the Caribbean, Central America, and everything. So be careful there. Now, now let's see. Like for example, the European shows those waves approaching, more showers and storms on the Eastern Caribbean, some more storms in Cuba, Puerto Rico, and in Central America, the heavy rains. So be careful. It shows also the probabilities of the ensembles. A lot of support the system in the Gulf, show like a tropical storm, depression from the European, and more support for the system out there in the Atlantic. Let's see the GFS. It shows a lot of support there in the Gulf, and if in the Atlantic, some really strong members there, so more support there. So a member or two goes into the Caribbean, but not really, mainly in the Atlantic there, in the Gulf. So be aware, and this is mainly it. Let's just see something else, because there's this area in the Central Pacific there that they highlighted. So they say disorganized showers and thunderstorms is associated with a trough low pressure 1,000 miles off southeast of Hawaii. Is environmental conditions expected to become marginally conducive for some subsequent development of the systems and move slowly northward the next few days. So 20% chance. So just a little system there, something to watch as well. But stay safe there in the Gulf from the heavy rains, the system, and we'll keep monitoring everything.